Here I am with Moxie. I'm gonna take Moxie out of the crate and let her outside. And not that you have to do this all the time, but when she first comes back to you, it'd be great to do exactly what we've been doing. At least 5 times a day, this process happens so that she's really used to it. She's in the crate, and we make sure that she waits because we want her to know that this is actually your boundary that you control. And if she waits like that, you can give her a treat. Good, if she'll take one. It's just another way to stabilize her, to make her more confident because she has to think about this. Give her another little rule to follow, and all this thinking and focus and concentration that she's doing with you also makes her think that you're in charge. Therefore, if she's with you, she's going to be listening more because you're the boss. So it's just one of these things we do with the crate where we actually use the crate as a tool for training. She waits in there. You pat your leg and say, okay. She comes out. I always close the crate door because I get to do this little circle here where you saw me just turn into her. It's really subtle, but it's a very primal move. And you may be a camera person, you might be on top of this, so you might want to be shooting from back there. Okay, come on. So this is how we let her out every day. And this is the main yard. Sit. I always have her sit at the doorway. She's distracted by the cameraman, which we don't usually have, but that's okay. Just another something to deal with. I always have her sit. I always do this front door exercise. It's so easy for anybody to do. You make sure she sits, she waits. While you step out, she waits for you to come back next to her. If she gets up, you say no, and you just pull up just the slightest little bit of pressure. And she's more distracted by the camera person than I thought, but that's okay. This is just another thing for her to have to focus with. Of course, if nobody's there pointing something at her, she's going to be a lot easier to deal with in this situation. So she's sitting, I stepped out, stepping back next to her. No. Okay, make sure she waits. See how this leash is loose? There's no more running through the doorway. Come on. Out here, I'm just going to let her be free in the yard. I'm going to have her sit, and I'm going to release her, be free. Go. She can go to the bathroom or do whatever she wants to do. Now Moxie's been outside for a while and she's had a lot of free time, so I'm going to bring her back in. I want to show you exactly how we've been doing it in my house and how you should continue for a while in your house too. So she always waits at the front door, and she happens to be there waiting right now to come back in. And when I first got her, she was very fearful and we couldn't touch her. She would run away. And so I always just started coming with a gift. And so I would come out, good girl. At the same moment, I would attach the leash. And then I'd just do a little step into her like this. And I would say, sit. And then instead of allowing her to rush back and forth through this doorway, which is really important that you not do, because if you're letting her out into your yard all day long, you're going to get 5 or 6 or 8 times where she's rushing back and forth. And you're literally allowing her to learn how to rush in and out of this boundary here. And each time she does it, she becomes overstimulated to a certain point. And it's so, no, as you can still see, that she still gets excited and starts to anticipate what we're going to do. And she pops up because she loses her focus. But it's such a good way to help her with her overall issue, to have her sit and wait like you see me doing. And okay, allow her to walk through with you. And so if you want her to be slow and calm, then you have to be slow and calm. If you're doing this 4 or 5 times a day, that's one for each way in and out. That's 10 times a day. And then back into her crate. Sit. That's a bunch of times just coming in and out of the crate and going in and out of the front door, back door, whatever door she's used to going in and out of. That's a whole training routine there. You have to do that with her anyway. You have to send her through that doorway. Why not use it as a tool for training? It greatly improves her ability to focus and be calm because you're teaching her how to focus and think. And of course, when you're doing this, you're not going to be talking to a camera, so it's really easy. She's just making some mistakes because I'm talking so much and all that. But basically, when you bring her back to her crate, you want to have her sit. She has to wait. She wants to go in there. No. She's got to sit and wait to be allowed to go back into her den, because that's the way she looks at this, as her den. And you can just say, go. And she's allowed to go back in. And when she goes in, turns around, I give her a little treat, a little Natural Balance sausage. We're using the lamb flavor she loves. And I take off her little prong collar and hang it up on the door. And this is a process we repeat all day long. So even this is just, this is part of the whole system, where since we haven't had a very long time to really change her, she came with a bunch of issues. She didn't really have a sit stay or anything like that. So we want to use every minute usefully. Every interaction with her is an opportunity to train. And if you do the same thing when she comes back to you, just do it for a month solid, exactly the way we've been doing it here, the way we videoed. She's not going back to the way she was before. And then you're going to have a dog that can handle way more stress, way less likely to attack other dogs in any situation, as long as you do everything that you see us doing. And we'll show you, work with you as much as you want in person. But all these things focus her, gives her, basically we gave her a life. This is her job to do. In all these little everyday situations, sitting at the crate, sitting at the doorway. And it's not whether you're sitting there or not, as you can see with the video, it's how you do it that matters. A lot of people have the dog sit at the doorway, and then they may step out. Then they allow the dog to come after them, which destroys the whole effect of it. Actually causes a problem, because the dog's just on pins and needles, ready to rush through the doorway to come after them. And we want her to be super calm, focused, be calm going through that boundary where she was formerly not, and formerly just rushing through. And it helps her overall issue. So, devil's in the details. You got to do it a certain way so it's beneficial to what her problem is, helps her with her issues, her problem. And having her wait with no anticipation in all these different situations is the bottom line. That's what you're doing. And so we've customized a little whole way of handling her throughout the day so that that deals with her issue.